Thank you, Hai, for joining me from Vietnam in this conversation about your journey to becoming a supervisor. It's
Thank you,
really,
Andre.
it's
Thank you,
really good.
Isis.
It's really good to have you here. I'm so keen to tell you. It's so good to have you here. Um, I'll just start by asking you who you are as both as a human being and as a coach, if you can share with us.
Yes. Yeah, I love the way that you were asking me as a human being first before who I am as a coach and a coach supervisor. Um, well, I guess as a human being, I like to think of myself as just another human being. Your friendly um friend that you can always meet um, in your journey. I like to be different, but I like to be just as human as any other. And well, I've been in banking for a long time before I switched into coaching because I think coaching is my true calling. It's all the roads lead me to coaching, and I'm glad that I have finally found it. Um, I'm a I can say that I'm a fun person. I may not start off very high, very fun, but eventually I get into the fun part. So I hope we get into that in this conversation as well. I like to help people, and I like to um, interact with people because through interactions with people, I learn about myself as well. And that's really something that also one of the reasons why I get into coaching, not just to help others, but to help myself and understand more about myself. And recently, I got into coaching supervision, and I think that's another calling because for me, coaching and coaching supervision go um, in a pair. They need each other. And as a coach, I do life coaching and team coaching, and now I do coaching supervision as well. I also do coach training because I like the world to have more coaches or more people with coaching skills and coaching mindset because I believe that that's a good way, one of the many good ways to develop people and not just ourselves, but to develop others. So as a coach, am a PCC coach from with the ICF. I also recently joined the AC, and I love to be accredited with coaching supervision with the AC. That's why I was lucky to have found ICCS, and I really enjoyed the journey with ICCS, and that's why I'm here to be talking with you about it.
I'm curious, how did supervision come into your journey? What triggered this desire to train as a supervisor?
Yes, that question took me a long time to answer, to ponder, but then the answer came quickly and justified. Mm, as I said, I came from the ICF where coaching supervision is not mandatory. It is recommended, encouraged, but not compulsory. So not a lot of us, to be honest. I mean, I'm not talking about others, but I myself, I didn't know about coaching supervision at all. all I knew was coach training and mentoring, which is very skill focused. Then through my journey as a coach, I suddenly feel that it was getting more and more lonely, more sort of isolated and lonely in the sense that I was in the journey of helping others. Then who is helping me? Who is supporting me in this whole journey? And it's a very fun journey, but it's not easy. It's heavy. And all I had was my friends, my colleagues, and my teachers. But then the conversation is mostly about coaching skills and competencies. And I found it a little bit lacking. So really, who is supporting me in this journey? Not in terms of skills, but also in terms of myself as a human being and myself as a coach, an all-rounded coach, not just skill, but also mentality and the being, and also ethically. So I started searching, and then I found supervision, and but the moment I found it, I felt that it was the answer. So I started digging more, and I realized that supervision is it's the whole field. It's not just a skill or a task, but it's the whole field of supervision who is supporting people who support others, and it originates from counseling and other support profession. So coaching will really benefit coaches, and coaching will benefit from coaching supervision. So the next question was, if it's not compulsory, is it necessary? Is it needed? And I got the answer that it's really needed. Because if we think of supervision as something optional, then we have the tendency to just come to it at the last minute or when it's really the last resort. But when we think of coaching supervision as a friend, as a space where we can always come back to it, and it's not just a space when we come back not a space we come to when we have troubles, but when we have any ideas or we need a space to think, a time to think, for us to reflect on not just the journey, the past journey, but also the future, the moment, the present moment, and the future moments. Then just the thought itself is already very encouraging and supporting and very opening. And when we actually come to that space, we realize how valuable it is. And we just wish that we could have come earlier. But anyway, the point is, I came to realize that coaching and coaching supervision should, we don't usually use the word should. We leave it open for others. But for myself, I said to myself, for me to continue this coaching journey, I need to, and I want to embark on coaching supervision hand in hand with coaching. It's not something behind or supporting, but it's, they go in pairs.
And now that you embarked on this supervision journey and qualified, I'm really curious, what was the impact of the supervision training, both on you as a human being, because you were saying you needed it, and on your coaching practice?
My journey with coaching supervision was from, something that I need, and then turning into something that I love and I want, right? As I said, normally we would, or I would, come to supervision when I have troubles, when I have problems. And now, even when I don't have a lot of, or I may think I don't have issue, but when I come to coaching supervision, then I realize, okay, it may not be an issue, but it's something that I can do differently. I can do better, and I can prepare myself better for the next coaching session or the next clients that I meet. I upgrade myself even before that version is needed. Then it's really, as I said, a space, a learning space, a reflective space, a space for me to grow myself as a human being, together with myself as a coach. So the impact was, I have more ideas. I have more creative ideas of interventions, more creative ideas of being different. I can even think of new sort of coaching models, coaching processes, and then that's on the technical side. On the other side is I feel much more confident, in the sense that I'm more willing to experiment, because I know that I have a good intention, and I have a learning space where I can always come back to and make it better. So I'm now more willing to experiment and more open and more inviting the clients to experiment with me. So that's really opening up the whole world of new possibilities. And before that, I was just really sort of focusing myself on just one or two models or one or two processes or one or two interventions that I'm very familiar, I'm very comfortable with. With supervision and after each supervision sessions, it's a new journey with the same client.
When you mentioning that you're more open to experiment, is it you're more open as a coach or as a supervisor or both?
Well, I would say both. Both. Definitely, it impacts my coaching, and when I have good results from coaching, then I'm more open to the supervision itself, right? To my supervisor, to myself in the supervision process. And recently, I started doing. So that is me being supervised, right? And then when I do supervision for others, I am more open to their stories, more open to their journeys. Because previously, I may see people from a very different process or very different coaching school or coaching philosophy. I may get uncomfortable with them, to be honest. But with supervision, I would say the circle opens up. I am more willing to sit down with them and going through the journey with them and inviting them. And then if in turns, I'm more inviting them to open up their own circle, their own experiments, and their own experience with their clients. So it's like it's a systematic benefit, I guess.
In this, during the training, as a supervisor, or maybe even after you finished the training, were there any realizations or awarenesses that you got that surprised you? And this can be about yourself, about your work as a coach.
I think that one thing I can immediately relate or remember is the realization that the necessity of coaching supervision. The lesson I got was, this is repeating, right? But I got it so profound that I like to repeat that we think of supervision as something we come to when we have issue. And now it's a safe and reflective space and a trusting space that we come before we have any issue. So it's really a 180-degree turn, right?
Sounds like really a space for growth, right? Not just, as you say, where you resolve issues, but it's really a space when you can grow.
Exactly. Yes. That's a lovely way of putting it. It's not a fixing it space. It's a growing space.
How do you see the future for yourself as a supervisor? And also, who do you see yourself working with in this future?
So, as I said, before the supervision class, I was thinking that supervision was something that I needed to do when I had troubles. So it was just for myself and maybe to support some others who need supervision. And during the class and after the class, I realized that to grow coaching in, specifically in Vietnam, we don't have a lot of coaching supervisors, maybe like 2 or 3 who just started or just graduated or get qualified. Then for me, the realization was to really maximize the potential of coaching. Then coaching supervision is needed, and it should be as utilized as possible. May not be mandatory, but then it should be sort of people should know about it. People should be aware that there is a whole field of coaching supervision to support the growth of coaches. And then with the growth of coaches, then clients will benefit eventually. In Vietnam, not many people know that there is coaching supervision. Or once they hear that coaching supervision is not mandatory, then they just, okay, then I don't need it. That was my biggest lesson. And I turned it into a mission for myself that I would, make it more visible, make coaching supervision more visible and more accessible to coaches in Vietnam. So right now I have a group of students and colleagues, my colleagues who work as coaches, and I'm providing coaching supervision for them, pro bono, and then also paid. But the main idea was to make it more visible, to let them know that this is something that very beneficial for them. Because when people hear about the word supervision, they get scared. It's like a management style sort of supervision. But once they experience it, they have the same experience that I had. They tell me that, oh, I didn't know that this is supervision. I was thinking of something else, and I got scared. And now they start to ask me for supervision. And I thought that was really lovely. And I also promised to them that now they have the right to demand for supervision. It's not just that I offer to them, but they can always demand it from me or any other supervisors. So the future, from I see myself doing coaching supervision and coaching equally. So I would spend half of my time doing coaching and half of my time doing coaching supervision. That's for me personally. And for any others, any coaches around me, as I said, my mission was to let them know that there is coaching supervision to support them when they need, and encourage and invite them to experiment with it. And then once they know about it, I trust that they will know what to do with it, when they want to do with it. My mission for now is to make it visible and more accessible in Vietnam.
It's so beautiful to hear the word mission next to the word supervision, right? And how you made it your mission, and the impact that it will have and already has on not only the coaches themselves, but also the coaching industry in Vietnam. My last question, Hai, would be, what would be your message, if any, to coaches from all over the world, or specifically from Vietnam, who are considering to become coaching supervisors?
Well, the other benefit that I got from the supervision class was, well, compared to just coaching, right? Supervision extends very deeply and broadly into the psychology of human beings. So that's technically it's very beneficial for any coach, right? So my coaching improves directly from the learning I got from coaching supervision, right? So not just my coaching supervision skill was, obtained and then upgraded, but my coaching skill was upgraded as well. And my clients benefited from that. And then the impact of coaching is multiplied systematically with coaching supervision. As the other lesson, and also my message, is that when we engage with coaching supervision, we engage with the whole system and not just one individual. So for coaches who want to expand their scope and to multiply their impacts, then coaching supervision is I would say the key after coaching. And it's like synergy, right? It's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = many with coaching supervision. Well, I didn't get my message short, but I hope that it gets across.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. Thank you very much for your time and for being open to share your coaching supervision story and journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with me and inviting me to reflect on this beautiful journey. And I'm very happy to be sharing this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.